As I watched this video, I was reminded of the biblical parable found in Luke chapter 6 about the rich man and Lazarus. I'll tell you why on the other side of the 30. The history of slavery for Black Americans and or African Americans depends on which one you relate to, if you fall within that category. Goes back, a little over 400 years, culminating primarily during the period of the 1800s, according to what historical records tell us. It seems as though, depending upon what we look at, what we hear, what takes place in society, what takes place in our community, it would seem as though the cycle of slavery, present day, in the form of incarceration, if you will, it would seem as though that cycle is repeating and never ending, primarily for our Black and brown brothers, as we see here on the screen in the thumbnail. Why do I say that? Well, I went and I did a little bit of research into the statistics surrounding the incarceration rate of Black males, presently today. And according to that information, approximately 2,382 Black males or African American males, Black American males, per 100,000 adults are incarcerated each year. Now, that's at a rate of about 5 times higher than whites. And I repeat, approximately 2,382 Black American or African American males per 100,000 adults, are incarcerated, and that's at a rate of 5 times higher than whites, according to reports. Now, in comparison to women, being Black American women or African American women, women are incarcerated at a rate of 85 per 100,000 adults. You see how significantly different the numbers are there in comparison of men to women, again being Black or African American. That's a very alarming rate when you hear it, and it should cause alarm within our community and abroad, because for every Black or African American male, there is a mother, there is a father, by chance there's a sister, a brother, a cousin, so on and so forth down the line. a son, a daughter, a wife, a loved one, fiance, et cetera, that is connected to that individual. And those types of figures, those types of statistics warrants the question, what is wrong? Because something is wrong. Something is wrong, number one, that our Black American brothers are incarcerated at a rate of 5 times higher than that of white men. And if that continues, or if that's, what in some ways has become common or become the norm, then the chance of survival for the Black American race, becomes slimmer and slimmer. In any event, I was intrigued by watching this video. Now, the channel that this video comes from, as you can see on the screen, is a channel called Between the Lines. Now, Between the Lines is a nonprofit, and their overall goal, according to what I read, is to reduce recidivism, to provide mentorship, and this is the way that they intend to do it, to reduce recidivism. Uh, some of the methods that they employ are mentorship, education, and sports. And all of these, I believe, coupled with some other things, are a form of therapy. And I feel like that's actually a good thing, because for the individual who has found themselves in that unfortunate situation, isolated away from society, if you will, and compartmentalized in a way with other like individuals whom for the most part you don't even know, uh, that can look like a very dire situation. And so I commend this nonprofit organization for the work that they um, say that they do. Now, I will say this: it's actually an interesting channel. And you can say I'm promoting the channel, sure. It's an interesting channel, so I do recommend you going and taking a look at the content that they have there, and see what you walk away with, and what you may find there. The interview date for this particular video is May 16th, 2025. And the interviewer, right here, according to some of the comments that I had read there, is this gentleman here, and his name is given in the comment section as Craig Farley. And I found him quite intriguing as an interviewer. And that really made me, in a sense, just kind of, I don't want to say mourn, but I really had a sense of sadness for him that he's in the position that he's in, and you should know that he's also incarcerated, and we'll find that out as we watch the video and point out a couple of things, just kind of look at it from another perspective. But I thought to myself, what great things uh, more could he be doing, or might he be able to do, if he were on the other side of the fence? And I don't know what his plight is currently and all of that, but he seems to be, based on this footage here, he seems to be somewhat motivated and somewhat encouraged that he's able, in a way, to engage people and pour out to people, and use some of his gifts and his talents. So that was really a positive thing about the interview that I saw, um, amongst some other things that we will get into. But as we view this clip, I'm gonna be kind of pointing out some things. So I will be kind of stopping and starting here and giving some comments on it, because after all, this is a reaction video. And there are some things that we can glean from it and pick up on. So I ask you to open your mind, have an open mind as you go into this interview, and allow yourself to be informed and to see things from a different perspective. Now, right off from the bat on the screen, we see that these gentlemen have uh, more than one thing in common besides all of them being at the same place, being in the same position, right? They're obviously at a state institution. I don't believe that it would be federal because I don't think that federal will let you come in there. I didn't get that from what I listened to, but they are at a institution, right? An institution of incarceration. But as you can see here in the still shot, all of these men are Black and or African American. No, we don't know, their full or actual race per se or ethnicity, but we can all see that they all share the same skin tone, right? And pretty much they have a connection there, I would say, as a race and ethnicity, with variations in between, right? The other thing that you can see there is that there is at least, just, on the surface, there is at least 2 generations there. And if you look at it, it's divided. There's a divide there. You can see it there. You can separate them. On the left of your screen would be the younger generation. And then on the right of the screen, minus the gentleman with the kind of like chef's hat on that's doing the interview, on the right of the screen would be the older generation, or the elder, that may be a better way of saying it, the elder generation to them. No doubt of age to be their fathers, and in some cases, their grandfathers, so forth and so on. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's go into the interview, and we'll talk impromptu throughout.
So what do you think the hardest part is, waking up in prison knowing that you're alive, but you're not free?
You never know what could happen to you. You could be waking up on the good side of the bed, somebody else wake up on that bad side, and you could go up from there. You could be on your own route, but then somebody on their route and mess up your route. You feel me? So you never know what happened. That's what really be messing me up here.
All right. So good morning, everybody. How y'all feel?
Good morning.
I mean, how y'all doing? So y'all heard a little bit about the segment, the generational effects of criminal decisions. I just wanted to start real quick with some of the youngsters. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Marcellus Willie. I've been down for 2 years. I got sentenced to 22 to life with parole. Just hoping to get back.
Next.
My name is Armani Hall. I've been sentenced to 25 to life. I've been down 2 years. I'm going on 3 years.
My name is Raheem Mills. I got LWAP. I've been down 5 years.
My name is Christian Hall. I've been sentenced to 31 to life. I've currently been down 4 years.
My name's Zealous Smith. They sentenced me in 25 to life. I've been on for 3, and better days be on the way.
Oh, I'm gonna come to y'all in a minute. So real quick, I wanted to talk to y'all. Anybody can just speak up and say it. So how do y'all feel now that y'all know that y'all in prison at a young age? How do you feel about that?
Shoot, it's not a good feeling.
Okay, so I'm going to pause for just a moment and point out something. Now, right there, he, got a little bit of background information, if you will, on the younger generation, on the youth here. Between each one of them, between their sentence, if you combine it up, from them alone, you have well over 100 years combined of potential prison time. Most people today don't even, live out or make it to 100 years of age. If you do, you're fortunate, and you may be the exception and not the norm, depending on, where you live at and so on and so forth. But between all of them, the young men here on the left of the screen, they are well over 100 years combined in sentence or prison time. Let's continue.
As a black man, I shouldn't even be in here right now. Should be on my way to the NFL right now. This ain't the lifestyle. This ain't the lifestyle I want for my young people out there.
Pause. Did you hear what he said? He said, as a black man, and I will expand on that and say just as a man, period. But we are dealing with, the focus is black men here. He says, as a black man, as a black young man, I should not even be here. And oftentimes we see this, when you go and you talk to, maybe you have a loved one, a friend or something like that who's in the same predicament. Or when you watch and listen to documentaries or interviews, this is oftentimes what you hear. And it's as though the person is looking at their life, their decisions, their actions in comparison to where they are present tense or present time in retrospect. And they will oftentimes make a comment, I shouldn't even be here. As if to say, how did I get in this position? Knowing that they know why they're there, but it's almost to say that if I had to listen, if I hadn't gone to that place with that person, if I hadn't picked up this weapon, if I hadn't went and tried to make fast money, if I hadn't have, got into this altercation with this person, if I didn't have to get the last word or, get the last hint in, if I had to just listen to my mother, my father, my grandmother, my grandfather, my neighbor, my teacher, the man down at the corner store, I would not even be here. I should not even be here, but for, and then you have to fill in the blank. Let's continue.
It don't matter if you black or not. It's not the place to be.
And then my boy Christian back there, hey man, tell them the story. Y'all brothers. Let them know y'all brothers.
This is my blood little brother right here. So I hate being in this situation with him.
Let's pause. I find it awkward to me that now from what we get here, these two are biological brothers. And you can tell by looking in their faces. They are biological brothers. Now, look at the contrast in the facial expressions. The one who currently has the mic in his hands with the blue warm-up pants on, he's saying that or introducing that kind of sort of jovial or very relaxed in saying it as though this is the norm or typical. But then look at the facial expression of his brother to the right of him who has the gray cap on. Look at how he's looking down. He doesn't appear to be happy with that statement. He doesn't appear to be happy with that reality. Let's continue.
It's like we in a negative environment. So like I try not to be on a negative tip, so I know he gonna follow suit. But we in a negative environment, and like for me, I really hate it because I had a son since I've been in jail. I ain't been able to hold him yet. That's like real.
Pause. So now he has an offspring, right? His brother has a nephew. If things play out in accordance with the sentence that they've been dealt, each one of them, neither one of them or both of them stand the chance potentially not to, ever even, physically come into contact with their child or be a part of their child's life. Now, I don't know, in some cases, sometimes given the person's background, given their history, it may be in a way better for their child not to have their parent or whoever in their lives. That has to be weighed out looking at the conditions. Now, the other thing I want to ask you all or point out is I noticed that he started talking about environment and he's leaning on the environment to say that that is the reason as to why we're here, or that is the reason to which we, why we made the choices to do what it is that we did that got us here. While environment, in my opinion, while environment, can play a role in our makeup, in our behavior, in our thought pattern, it is not to be the sole factor or to be leaned on as the sole reason or excuse as to why we did what we did. Because each one of us, if we're developing right, if we're on a normal course or normal trajectory of development as individuals, we develop and we learn how to use reason or good judgment. That's why we have that. And we learn how to use that, and we learn where to appropriate it, where to apply it. And then we're supposed to glean from, hopefully our parents, those people around us who are supposed to have our best interest in mind, who are supposed to be our guardian, our guiding light, if you will, showing us, the basics of how to navigate the world and people around us, situations and things like that. Of course, experience has to come into that as well, because those persons cannot accompany us or be around us all the time as we grow. The connection or the closeness or that parent, kind of being over us all the time, that begins to wane, right? And so we're becoming more and more independent. So I cannot, for these two gentlemen, I cannot sit there and, agree with you 100% and say that that's your reason, the environment, because there are people, who came up in and who will come up out of the same environment, that you came out of, if you're talking about the neighborhood or if you're talking about your house, and they will be able to be resilient and overcome those things that would present a challenge and an obstacle to them. So there are arguments to be made on both sides. Let's continue.
Feel messed up for me. Think about it all the time.
All right, good. And for you, hey, so what do you think the hardest part is waking up in prison knowing that you're alive, but you're not free?
It's just like, bro, it's just like you never know what could happen to you. You can be waking up on the good side of the bed, somebody else wake up on that bad side, and you can go up from there. You could be on your own route, but then somebody on their route and mess up your route. You feel me? So you never know what happened. That's what really be messing me up for you.
All right. And how has your journey been in prison? You got life without, so I identify with you straight up.
So me.
What? Okay, let me pause right here. Now, he's one of the youngest out of this group of gentlemen here who are talking. What in the world is it that he did that got him the sentence of life without parole? I want you all just to kind of try to let that sit in and sink in, to your brain right now. Try to take that in. What is it that he did? And he doesn't seem to be, now, of course, he said that he's been there a couple of years. I think he said 5 or less. But he doesn't seem to be affected emotionally or mentally by that statement or by that reality. Now, it's possible that maybe he was when he first got there. I don't know. But I just want you to take that in.
I just try to stay out the way, mind my own business, you feel me? So that I may sometime in the future turn my situation around, because, there's hope nowadays. So I'm doing what I got to do to get out, you feel me?
All right. And for you, the last question is, what's one thing you're going to do since you were in prison to better yourself to make it out?
Sure, man. Just dedicate myself, doing good, go to class, working and stuff like that. And, stay out the way so I can go home to my family.
All right, for sure. And then real quick, I want to show something with the elders of those who've been in prison long enough. I'm going to let y'all introduce yourselves.
My name is Jimmy McLeod. I've been in prison 36 years. I got life without.
Right, let's get it going. My name is Tabitha Selene Wilson. I've been in prison 26 years, incarcerated with life without.
My name is Edward Marshall. I've been in prison 39 years. I got 25 to life.
Okay, so let's stop right here. So now we're over to the elders of the group, right? So one of them has been in prison for 36 years and is on a sentence of life. The other has been in prison for 26 years of his life, and he has also been sentenced to life. Okay, so that puts us a little over 60 right there, combined total. And then the next one says that he's been doing time for about 25 years, and he has a life sentence. So combined, we are approximately at a little over 70 years in time. And 70 years in time is like the typical lifespan for a human being these days. And each one of them have a life sentence. Now, my other question is to you, as I ask myself, is what is it that the elders here in this situation, in their position, given the amount of time that they have and what they did that got them there, what is it that you can tell these youth on the left side of the screen that you could not have done when you were on the other side of the fence or when you were free? Now, I'm going to tell you what I started to title this video. I started to title it this way: Black Men, we are tired of talking to you on the other side. Now, let's be honest. As individuals, and particularly as men, each group or each generation tends to be inclined to listen more so to a company or a group of their peers, right? Meaning that they have the same, era or birth year, same time frame. They have that in common, right? They're able to relate to each other more. Most of the time, and that was probably the case for all of them right here, we can find it difficult as we age, as we get into those young adolescent years or teenage years. It is difficult. You find it difficult to really listen to elders. There's like a great divide there. There's a break. Those ears, kind of are hard of hearing, and as though they have, some type of buildup in them. And a lot of times, sometimes they do. And there's some dynamics that are working together. You have the young adolescent or the teen who is growing. They're coming more into themselves, their identity, and with that identity is going to come their perspective on the world or around them, how they see things. It's no more, I see it as, or I look at it through the eyes of my parents or whoever. Now, my intellect is developing, my perception is developing, my experiences and engagement with the world and people. So there's a lot of that's going on, and then peer pressure there. But I just wonder, what can you really tell them, given that y'all in the same predicament? Because to me, if you could tell them something now, I would assume that would have kept you out of this situation. And how many young Black men could you possibly have reached and been able to save and detour from going down this road or down this route? So it would almost seem as though it's, too late. I don't know. That's just my thought. Let's go.
All right. And since y'all been in prison, what has been the experience? Y'all came in same age as them, right? and now y'all still here.
So my experience so far has been like I came in as a gang member, so it was violent back then, real violent. So it's been a lot of hardship for me, and but today I've changed myself. So in the last 5 years, I have become hopeful instead of hopeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something positive for him.
Kind of similar. I came in '99. It was a lot of it's a much different atmosphere. Also, I was gang related, heavily involved. Found myself in and out of the shoe. Over these last 7 years, though, I've been working on myself. Really just focused on just building myself into the person that my mother always wanted me to be. So now, you know what I'm saying, I'm not only have I worked on me, I'm trying to help other people work on themselves as well.
So my question to you would be, where do you think your narrative played in harming the younger generation now that you're older? Your actions.
Well,
Good
being
point.
that I'm an ex-gang member, you know what I'm saying? I think me gang banging. They took up what other people was doing.
I will say this: I'm looking at their jeans, and those pants are creased now. Now, you know, one thing that is kind of, you know, speaks of black men. You know, we're gonna try to present ourselves in a certain way. So I will say, when you look at each one of these brothers, now they are clean. You know, from head on down. Nobody's looking raggedy. You know, of course, you take into consideration the setting, but all of them do present very well for the video, in my opinion. Let's go.
Doing it. I played a part in it as far as gang banging, selling drugs, and stuff like that.
All right. And for y'all that's been down this long, what would y'all tell them, youngsters coming in prison right now who have life without in life, what would y'all advise them to do?
I would advise you, any youngster out there today that's headed towards where we headed, would advise them to not get involved in this stuff, because whether you realize it or not, you take away from not just yourself, but your family. You take away from the community. You're hurting the victim family. You take away from them. So today, I would just say education is the key.
So for me, I would say take advantage of the opportunities that y'all got. Speaking of y'all that's in here right now, we didn't have these opportunities. There wasn't no education. There wasn't no self-help program. It was just violence. That's all we had. We didn't have no outlet. Y'all got an outlet now. They coming in with programs like Between the Lines. You got 1 million self-help programs on this yard. Things that to help you engage your mind. Take full advantage of that. You don't got to sit up here 26 years, 36 years, 39 years. You ain't got to do that type of time no more. It's on you. The onus on you. What you put in, you're gonna get back. You ain't got to sit up here no dub. You ain't got to sit up here 15 years. Yes. Work yourself up out of here.
All right, then.
Yeah, I wish they had the YOP program when I came. They didn't have it, right? So I was like, give me a flag and a knife and let me do my thing, right? So you see, I had 25 to life, 39 years. I still sit here. You know what I'm saying? Because of my actions earlier in the program, right? But now I got my shit together. I'm trying to be a productive citizen for society, so I get out there and give back to the community.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say I thank y'all too, because I feel like I'm the middle generation real quick. I've been in prison 15 years. I came in looking like that, young, and I'm like in the middle, headed in this direction right now. And I really thank you guys, everybody, for participating in this. And yeah, I want to clap it up for you.
So I guess maybe if I understand the interview correctly, he said that he's already put in 15 years in prison, and that he's headed in the direction of the elders to his right. So I'm assuming that maybe he has a life sentence. I don't know, but let's continue.
For y'all, and good looking, you know?
Oh, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content. Thank you. Let's continue.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So what you guys just experienced and just seen was literally the generational side effects of criminal decisions. You see, you come into prison when you're 19, 20, 21, and you thinking you're going to be young forever, not knowing one day you're going to hit 30, you're going to hit 40, and guess what? You still going to be here on the yard. And I can say that for me, from my experiences, I thought about next week and tomorrow, but I never thought about the future. You know, I had that low self-esteem, low value on life. And unfortunately, I'm still here, and I really see the effects, because time waits for nobody. Not only you getting older, but life is still going on out there. Your parents is getting older. People start to move on. And what I would tell the youngsters out there is don't sell your life, you know what I mean, away for 5 hot summers on the streets. Because once you come up in here and really recognize you got that life sentence, you're going to really regret it. And even after you regret it and transform and build yourself up, you're still going to be here. And that's why I'm real big on Amanda Seals and how she really helped me and transform myself to help me to understand emotional intelligence and emotional literacy, right?
Okay, so I'm gonna stop there with the comment from where he's going with Amanda Seals. Okay, but I want to point out something, and you all let me know down in the comments if you agree with me. This gentleman here, Mr. Craig Farley, is what his name, or is his name is given in the comment section down below. He did a wonderful job in facilitating this conversation, narrating the conversation, and interviewing the interviewees in this session. And I want to say kudos to each one of these gentlemen here. I don't know them personally, but I wish them well. And I hope that they are able to navigate through their time and through their current situation. And as one of the elders said in the video, to continue to engage their mind in different ways so that they don't fall into lower states of minds and things of that nature. I wanted to go down into this comment section. There were 3 comments that really stood out to me in here. One right here by this individual that says, "This is why fathers are important." Okay. And then there was another one. Let me go down further to. Okay. Here was the comment here by the individual. I'm assuming that this person is a family member to the gentleman that was conducting the interview. She says, "The interviewer is my cousin, Craig Farley. He's trying his best to give people inside a voice. An amazing job." And I'm going to hit a like on her comment, and I would agree to that. Let's see. Yes, here. "You can't control the actions of others, but you can control yours." And, that can take all of us sometimes, lifetime or life experiences to understand that we only have control to a certain degree, and for the most part we can really only control things within our immediate sphere or our immediate surrounding, right? All that we can do beyond that is to try and encourage, to try to build a person up, to love them. Love is so important, and then even with all of that, show mercy where mercy is able to be shown. With all of that, sometimes we may still, we're still going to have little pitfalls here and there, but that can go a long way. And there was one more comment that I saw that I wanted to point out here, and I may have missed it. Okay, I may have, but in any event, those were good enough there. So I want to go back to something that I had said in the beginning when I opened up the video, which was when I watched this interview, what came to my mind was the biblical parable about the rich man and Lazarus. And if you know that parables are like little short stories, little short videos that we do with life lessons in them, something that we can glean from and take away from. Now, the short end of the stick, or the summary, is that both the rich man and Lazarus died in this parable. Now, while they were on the earth, the rich man would pass by Lazarus all the time. Maybe he knew of him, maybe he didn't. But it said that he would pass him all the time, according to Jesus as he told the story. Well, both of them wind up dying, wind up passing. But each one of them wind up on opposite sides of the coin or the situation as it pertains to the afterlife. The story says that Lazarus was carried by the angels onto the side of Abraham, which Abraham would have been his forefather, right? And then the rich man, he was carried to the other side, which would have been Hades. And what is told in the story is that the rich man asked Abraham if he, Lazarus, now keep in mind that according to the parable, we don't find anywhere in there in the story that he and Lazarus even engaged with one another in dialogue or interacted or acknowledged each other. Uh, Jesus tells it and says that the rich man, passed him and saw him all the time, at the gate, which probably would have been an entrance into the town. And he just passed him. He doesn't say that he offered him anything or whatever in the story. But he asked Abraham if Lazarus can leave from where he's at and go back to the other side. I want you to think about that in relation to these black men here. They are on the other side now. What do I mean? They're on the other side of prison. That's where they are. They're on the other side of society. They are now institutionalized. They are no longer free men. They are no longer at their liberty to walk among us and to be self-guided. But because of their actions, they are now on the other side. They are in a way separated from their family, from their loved ones, and so on and so forth. So in that same fashion, the rich man asked if Abraham would send Lazarus to go and tell his loved ones, to go and tell his family members, I want you to hear me, to go and tell them not to come to where he's at, which for the rich man in this story, he is in Hades or he's in hell, right? Not a good place. And so he asked Abraham if he would grant that. And I want you to listen to what it is that Abraham tells the rich man. He says this, on the other side, where your family is, which is amongst the living, right? Which is amongst people, they have Moses and they have the prophets. Excuse me. In other words, they have in writing what it is that they've said on navigating the world, on navigating the course, what it is that they've talked about, what it is that they've revealed about, afterlife, when you finish with your life here, what there is to become, those types of things like that, and what you can do here in order to be granted access, to the better side, which would be heaven, right? Okay. He says they have them. And if they won't listen to them on the other side in the free world, right? What in the world makes you think that they would listen to you who is now passed on to the other side? I want you to think about that because that's a powerful message. And these gentlemen here in this interview are giving out a powerful message as well. And I will point that out to people who may view this video or who may go to the channel Between the Lines and view that video. You don't have to go to the other side to where they're at to be a leader, right? You don't have to go to the other side in order to learn a lesson that you need to make better choices. You need to be careful about who you run the streets with. You need to be careful about the company that you keep. You need to do your best to earn an honest living, to earn honest wages. You need to understand the importance of education. You need to understand the importance of who you are in the world that you live into and how to be successful and so on and so forth. You don't have to go to the other side to understand that, because sometimes when you go to the other side, more than likely it's too late. It's too late. Okay. Well, I've come to the end here. I think I've spoken enough. This was more so of a serious tone for me in today's session. But in any event, I want to thank you for coming and spending some time with me here at Culturally Appropriate. I have been your host, A. Lamont. I ask that you will like, share, and subscribe, and leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Let me know some other topics, perhaps that you would like for me to explore. I also have some shorts over on the other side, and apparently I seem to be, kind of making waves with these shorts. So I don't know. I'm trying to do both, and I will do that in order to build the channel, right? Okay. So until next time, I will see you on the other side of the 30.